For those of you, and I'll say this up front, for those of you that don't know, 2006, September, I was stricken with spinal meningitis, getting ready to go on vacation, bags already packed, but I had gotten a shot in my back for arthritis, and I was paralyzed from my waist down. Almost died. 24 hours, they said I wouldn't have made it. But God fixed it where when I went into emergency the second time going in, because we knew something was wrong. They thought I had the flu, or then it was an infection, they thought. And so they gave me antibiotics, which started the process of helping me to live. And then they found out what it was, and I was hospitalized, and it just blew me away. I'm a pastor's wife, very active, like to go, like to do a lot of things. And I was totally in the hands of other people. For turning me, for bathing me, I could feed myself, I could wash my face, but I couldn't bathe myself any further than my arms would go. And it was so good that when I was in the physical therapy for arthritis, that for some reason the Lord, well, I know why, He let me, they were exercising my arms. If I hadn't had the strength built up in my arms to pull myself, around and things, I would have just been messed up. And it was devastating. It just blew me away. I had 3 bouts with cancer before that, and I made it through, survived it. So I felt like I was on my way, and then that happened. But in 2007, and I'll tell you some things in between later, possibly. In 2007, now I'm in a wheelchair. They built ramps at the church so they could take my wheelchair up. And I was in a nursing home, rehab place for a while, a couple of months, and then going back and forth to the hospital because they dropped me once, or they dropped me because I couldn't. I went to Orlando, Florida, to a meeting, a women's convention, and I went in the wheelchair, which was, how can I put this? It was humbling. Not humiliating, but humbling. Because if you've ever been to a Church of God in Christ international meeting, it's packed. And people nowadays, whether you're in a wheelchair or not, you gotta watch out because they'll run over you. You never think about a lot of things about people in situations until it happens to you. Then it makes you take a double take. I have much empathy for people that are incapacitated, really. Never thinking I'd be that way, but I was. And so they called on Memorial Day 2007 at 12:30. We entered this big Coliseum, being wheeled in by Sister Nay back there. My daughter was there, and a lot of the saints from Washington State. And they called for all the wheelchair people, and they wheeled me up. They prayed for me. A lady tried to get me up, real enthusiastic. Come on, you can do this. Come on, come on. I had just been to the physical therapist before we came, and he had to pull me up with a belt because I you know, had to learn how to walk, which they said I would never really walk. They told my husband to get me ready for that. But God told me I was going to walk. I just didn't know when I was going to walk, but He told me I was going to walk. But they pulled me up, you know, and I was, you know, I couldn't make it. I felt very sad, in fact. So this lady's looking at me talking about, you know, you can do this. I'm looking at her. She said, well, can you stand? I could stand, you know, with help and a walker. Did we have, yeah, we had the walker. I could do that. And she said, come on, you can do this. And the devil talked to me and said, are you crazy? He said, you're going to fall in front of all these people on your nose. So I sat back down. But when I got back to my seat, the Lord spoke to me. And He said, Barbara, get up and walk. And guess what? I got up, and they had on the big microphone, there's a lady in the back. Debbie had ran to tell them because that's a whole era of these two looking at me. When I got up, and I was in between seats,